Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Spella. Good morning, good evening, whenever you decide to listen to this joint. Coming at you from Chicago. Ahem. All right, trying to do my best not to clear my voice, clear my throat and the mic. It's coffee time, and I'm drinking a bunch of water this morning, trying to stay hydrated. And I feel away because I had to do some, what would you call that? Damage control with one of my guitars, because it was not doing what it was supposed to do. So I don't have a good feeling about that. But you know how I do it. If you watch my content, you know what's good. So this morning, when I got up, which was not too long ago, made my bed, going through my motions, take a shower, blase blah, you know what I'm saying, pray, all of that stuff. I turned on some music. I really wanted to hear Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and I really wanted to hear Loser by Beck. I really wanted to hear some Beastie Boys today. And when I heard those songs, cognitively, I started to process certain thoughts. I started to process certain history. I started to analyze certain notes in the songs, and I started to analyze chords that were used and things of that nature that we musicians do, which makes us geniuses. There's a study on the brain, left brain, right brain, left-handed, right-handed. It was double blind, I think. It might have been just a blind study, but and it might have been just a study. I didn't look that deep into it, but the study showed that people who use their left brain and people who use their right brain are different. It's weird because left-handed people are prone to use the right brain. Right-handed people are predisposed to use the left brain. And left brain is not akin to being as smart as right brain. Not to say that to any of you guys, any of you right-handed musicians. But the left-handed artists have proven to be smarter in that people who aren't artists at all, that are musicians. Well, musicians are artists. So, in this study, people who were musicians did deal with notation. People who generally listen to music, people who appreciate music, tested differently than the people who didn't listen to any music at all, were not any type of creative musical source or anything like that. And so what they did was they put these probes, these Frankenstein-like probes, on their heads, and they measured their brain waves, right? And when they played music, certain types of music and things like that, the brains of the right brain people showed brainwave activity that was following the notes, that was predicting notes and predicting chords. So it's like you'll hear da 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 da, and then the brainwave will go da or bra. Your right brain can predict that type of thing if you're left-handed. And so the right-handed people, left-brain people, dense. It was a jetliner over their head. And so cognitively, left-handed people are smarter, are genius level. And not to say all left-handed people, but when you look through our history, do the study of the greats and see how many of them are left-handed. I'm not doing that homework for you. I'm not. Not to diss any right-handed artist, not to diss any righties. I am a left-handy dominantly, although I am ambidextrous, and so I use left and right brain. I probably shouldn't be putting this information out for public consumption, but I don't know, I feel a little proud about that. God made me very unique. I eat with my right hand. I write, hold a pen and a pencil with my left hand. Back in the day, I used to bat righty in baseball, but if I played kickball, my stance was lefty. And so it's just really weird. But I could take a lefty stance in baseball too. I'm just not as coordinated. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like I do what feels right. I do what feels right. Anyways, so as you can tell, I'm very cerebral today, and I normally am, unless it's a different, situation. But in the morning, it's good for me to sit down, have coffee, and process all of this. It's a lot to unload in the morning, and today I feel like my cognition came into fruition a little fast. You ever wake up really fast? It's just like, oh snap! It's like I was Doc and Marty getting into the DeLorean, and the flux capacitor was at full blast, and I was just traveling into my cognition, and I was just like, oh, what is this gonna be? And it sucks on those days that, excuse me. See why I clear my throat now. Just woke up. It sucks on those days that I'm getting coffee, that you have a migraine or a headache, and then you wake up really fast and it's just like, ugh. But saying that to say, really heavy on the brain thoughts and brain cognition and brain with music. So back to my original point. Let me sit this phone down for a second because I got to open this coffee. So back to my original thought. So I got up, I had to listen to all of these songs that were in my brain. Listen to a little Beastie Boys, listen to a little Beck. Who Beck is just, oh my God, this amazing Canadian artist. If you don't know about him, you have to know about Beck if you do music. Huge fan. So I had to listen to these songs, and then while I was listening to these songs, while I was listening to Beastie Boys, certain history came up in my brain. So I was this little kid, and I was laying in the grass in Mississippi, and I was in a city called Gaucher, and I lived across the street from my elementary school, which is College Park Elementary, right? And someone gave me a tape recorder, one of those old school tape recorders, and if I had it today, oh my God, but it's one of the best analogs. So if you young guys want to get that real lo-fi, there's a few brands out there that I'm gonna have to go do some research to figure out which one it was. But this tape recorder, pouring my coffee, was amazing. It had the ticker on it. It was one of the wide ones where you turn the tape in sideways and you lay it flat into the into the compartment, and then you compress the compartment, and it will click to let you know that the tape was in place. And you could tape over what you guys would call a sample. You could tape over a recording several times, and you could tape over the same spot over and over and over, and eventually the quality of the tape would get bad, and then the sound would get jarbled in between the different things you're recording. But those first maybe 2 or 3 times that you record over the same section, it would give you true lo-fi, like degradation in the analog tape. That's a whole nother podcast, bro. That's a whole nother podcast. That just blew me away. Anyways, I'm on the brain right now, not on audio 100%. All right, so when you think about the brain, and when you think about the way you cognitively reason when it comes to things that music triggers, right? Because that's what I was going through. I was right there back in that place when I was listening to that music at that particular time, and I felt that memory so real and so strong, and it was triggered. It was triggered by music, certain music. And there has also been another study done with older people that are in nursing homes, and you can even find footage of when staff plays music from a certain person's heyday, so to speak, their day, the music that they loved, the music that they played. I saw a guy that had a stroke, and he couldn't do much, but when his guys came through with the instruments and they sat him at a computer, he could still play jazz, bro. So, anyways, so the brain, this is really deep, right? So it's very complex, but the thing that I wanted to point out is that artists and musicians choose certain feelings that they want to convey, and when that particular song hits people, it hits them a certain type of way, and people decide whether they like that feeling, whether they don't like that feeling, right? Sometimes that becomes a popular song and people hate it, and sometimes it becomes a popular song, people love it, right? But I'm hearing my dad's voice. My dad is like, son, people don't know what they like until you give it to them, right? And he was saying that into reference. He was teaching me a lesson about different types of music, because he was playing, my dad is an amazing guitarist. He was playing a slow rhythm. He was playing a groove. My dad is like a dope soul, R&B, rock. He kills it. He's playing that slow groove. I was like, Dad, people don't want to hear that slow. What, man? I was talking some smack, and wasn't really talking smack. I was just my silly observation. My dad was like, people don't know what they like till you give it to them. Make the song first, son. Make the song. Make the slow song, And so it's a good lesson. That was a good lesson for me. Anyways, so when artists make these songs, they put these chords together, they string these progressions together and things. They're trying to convey this message. It goes out, and people process these things cognitively. If you're a musician, you hear the drum separate from the cymbal, separate from the flute, separate from the string, separate from the piano. You process all of these things separately. You're like, I like the way that he went with that hi-hat. Some hi-hats, the drummer was pissed off at his girlfriend, so he killing that hi-hat that night. And then the next night he might have, had a cool night. So he's just, slightly, just kind of tapping on the hi-hat. And so you feel that. You feel those improvisations, and you feel those deliberate, hard chords. You process them cognitively, but the studies have also shown that they affect your mood. They can change your mood. And I'm not going to get all off into Grand Theft Auto and modern warfare causes our children to kill people type of vibe. Like, I could go into some of those studies, but I mean, music itself can change your mood. It can make you, in my case, process thoughts from history that you experience while those songs were popular, or songs that you listen to. They don't have to necessarily be popular songs. They could be a song that you listen to. Like, I'm a fan of like bands like Sixpence None the Richer, which they had a hit song in the 90s. It was called Kiss Me. I hear that song, it takes me back to a certain time. You know what I'm saying? If I hear Wu-Tang, Cream, I'm back in Loxley, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I am a real back of the woods country hick. Just in case if you guys didn't know. Yeah, I live in Chicago, but I am from the woods. I'm one of them dudes from the sticks. And you wouldn't be able to tell by my vernacular, because I don't sound like a Chicagoan, and I definitely have lost my country accent, even though it's still there when I'm talking to my people. It comes back, you'll hear it. And yeah, anyways, I'm a country hick, whatever. So if I hear a certain song, it takes me back to a certain time and a certain day and a certain feel and a certain emotion. Some songs will give you a pit in your stomach. Some songs will give somebody else a pit in their stomach. You could start singing a song and they'll be like, please stop, please. And they'll have a bad memory associated to a song, and it pulls that emotion out cognitively and emotionally. And some people, you can feel music in your body, man. Some songs that have a swing on a 4 on the floor, not even a 4 on the floor, you can have a boots and pants. Boots and pants, boots and pants, boots and pants. And they can have a slight little swing on that snare. It's just a little bit, like a little MPC 60% swing on it. Put a little bit of spice on it. And bruh, your whole body just be jerking. And you can accredit a bunch of Chicago house music for that. A lot of Southern techno, because to me they're the same thing. Chicago house music and Southern techno, if anybody were to ever merge those two genres, they will have amazing. And the Europeans get it. The Europeans have been up on it for a long time. But Europeans they'll play Muddy Waters. They'll play Howlin' Wolf. And you'll be like, how did you get exposed to this music? And they'll have vinyl collections. And I think that Europeans sometimes appreciate music more than we do. Hence, what was that article I read? Universal just moved Def Jam to Europe. I think it's called 0204 Def Jam, which is it's a I guess a handshake or a throwback to the address that it was created. Just a little research I was doing. But yeah, they appreciate it. And to bring it all the way back to what I was talking about. Cognitively, you feel music in your body. If you look over in Europe and you see some of those like dubstep parties, or some of those, they got so many different like genres that aren't like ours, but some of those parties, man, people are just they know what a real mosh pit is. They feel the music. They throwing themselves at each other. And not that American mosh pits are worse or not as dope. European mosh pits are broken bones, jumping off the stage. You know what I'm saying? You know what? I'm not gonna get all off into that. I'm on a weird tangent. But cognitively, that music is doing something to them that they feel it in their body, so they feel like it's okay to jump off of a what do you call those things? A trellis? The truss. They will climb the truss on the side of the stage and jump off into the crowd. That's hard. But yeah, some music has been known to cognitively, it's been documented that people will hear voices or, will lead them to do things that are not kosher. I won't get into that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Music in itself touches people in a place cognitively, emotionally, and even subconsciously. I'm kind of careful about what I put into my spirit, aka Lil Wayne. Let that sizzle in your spirit. Did I say Lil Wayne? Country Wayne. Country Wayne. He got this funny saying, let that sizzle in your spirit. I'm kind of cognitive about what I put into my subconscious, but I'm not always. Sometimes I just like a song. Should people be careful about the music that they listen to? That's a question that I would ask, that I would open for a discussion for different people from different walks of society. I would not be able to give my opinion without sounding bigoted, but then I also would like to make it a think tank and to open up discussion to other people from different countries and different walks of life in order to come to a general consensus about music, because music is not just from my corner. I'm not the best musician ever. Like, it would be presumptuous of me to say that a certain section of music or a certain piece of music, even though there are some that are that is harmful. Can music be harmful? That's the whole thing. So that's not what this podcast is about. Music in itself, from the way that I experienced it just this morning, is a beautiful, beautiful, man. Alicia Keys has a song called 3 Hour Drive. And this song is so simple. The chords are so simple. Like, a beginner guitarist could play it. And complex, where the most trained classical artist could improvise the most complex melodies on this chord structure, right? Which, like any show tune or theme song, it has elements of simplicity that makes it easy to remember, from the lyrics to the chords to everything. And so this particular song is just amazingly descriptive in its musical tone and also in its lyric base. It's conveying of emotion. And so this particular song has a section where Alicia sings "You Give Me Life." She has coincidentally, she has a European artist singing, and it's one of those duets that I wish they had more of a harmony section. That would have been amazing. But they both convey this emotion that is just it's so dope. It's so dope. And if you haven't heard the song, if you're not an Alicia Keys fan, go check that out, man. I can't imagine anybody not being an Alicia Keys fan. But music and certain songs have an effect on me personally, and have had an effect on me personally since I was small, since I was very small. I remember the first time I heard a Roger Troutman song on the radio. Cognitively, that thing sent me into outer space. You know, Rocket by Roger Troutman. Oh my God. But music can be a time capsule. Music can be a spaceship. It can be an escape. And all of these things are cognitive things that we can collectively enjoy together, or we can look at a certain time and say, oh, that was rough. You can listen to songs that were created during the Vietnam War. You can listen to songs that were created during Woodstock, that were sang during the crack epidemic in the black community. You can listen to music and you can feel what people felt during a time. It can be the spark of a revolution. There's a community in Africa that took to a musician's music that had long retired and had given up on his career. And his album became the spark of their city getting the rights that they wanted. And it rejuvenized his career, but more importantly, he was able to go to that community and play for them. And it rejuvenated his career, but more importantly, those people shared his emotion with him, and he shared their emotion with them. And it gave them a belief and a faith and a fire. And so, yeah, music in it of itself is a gift that is only awesome. And this is my opinion. It's only awesome when you're sharing it, whether that be with yourself or whether it be with others. Music is at its best when it's being shared. Right? I was looking at a Prince documentary, not a documentary, it's an interview, and they just let Prince talk, because, you know, Prince is such an amazing musician. But I'm going to keep this simple. I could go on about Prince forever. He was making a point about music and music distribution and how important it was for people to maintain the ownership that created the music, and that companies that distribute music, I am messing that up for a reason. It's very heavy. Companies that deliver music should not take ownership of artists' rights, publishing, and things like that. And so, in essence, the power of music should stay in the hand of its creator, right? If you're a creative person and you're listening to this, take note and also understand how much power you have to invoke movement in people, dance in people, thought cognition, from children all the way up to the elderly. You can influence people to great things and great heights. Saw a dude on a wheelchair go down like a 50-foot ramp in a wheelchair, bro. He launched off the ramp and did a backflip. It's on YouTube. I can't make this up. He did a backflip and landed on another ramp. This dude launched himself like 50 feet into the air doing a backflip. Right? To music. What am I saying? I'm saying that responsibility in music is one of those things that it's subject to the artist's license. Whatever license you take for your music, you're responsible for what you put out. What you put out comes back to you. Every religion believes that. You know, it's like karma in one religion. You reap what you sow in the next one, you know. But even people that are atheists, you know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, that's bad juju. But I just always thought that was a funny word. How much time have I been talking? About 30 minutes. Okay, so responsibility in music is subject to the license that you take. Yeah. Woo, woo, woo. Not trying to be your dad, give you a lecture. But understand the power of what you create, right? Understand the power of what you're putting out. And then also understand how it affects people and how you want to affect people. And how if you want to grab the ear of the masses, what do you want to say? How do you want to affect their lives? And how do you want to cause people to feel when they revert back to your music in the future, right? And that's pretty much it. It's a broad law. Check me out on my social media. It's Brawler. I'm getting some gamers starting to follow me now. That's cool. I appreciate it. All my social media is Brawler Music. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, and do all of that stuff that you do with content creators. I love you guys. If you can hear my voice, I love you. You're amazing. Don't let anybody tell you different. You're beautiful. It's time for me to really indulge in this coffee right now. So I'm just kind of staring at it, and it's just like, drink me, please. And I'm like, I will drink you, you sexy thing, you. All right, y'all. I'm out of this piece. Yep.